Ryan pulled his car into the cul-de-sac and put it in park. "Okay, ladies," he said. "We're here." Everyone climbed out of the vehicle, their eyes immediately fixed on the dilapidated structure lurking in the darkness, the house that had once been a home. Luke and Ian trotted around the car to stand beside Ryan, who leaned toward the rear driver's side window. "Well, what are you waiting on? Let's go." The door cracked open and Evan climbed out. He passed his eyes over the house with as neutral an expression as one could have given what he was about to do. Ryan clapped a firm hand on his shoulder and edged him forward toward the house. "So this is it," Ryan began. "Your final test. You complete this, and you're in. Simple, right?" Evan tore his gaze away from the house to look at Ryan and said, "Sure." Luke stepped into Evan's line of sight. "Man, for someone who's about to become a Phi Psi brother, you sure don't seem too thrilled." "What?" Evan said, looking at Luke. "No, I am. I'm glad to join Phi Kappa Psi." Luke frowned. "Glad? You hear that, fellas? Evan's glad to become a Phi Psi brother. Man, don't bust a gasket getting too excited over it or anything." Ian eyed the decrepit house with dark fascination, glimpsing the 3 other empty lots that comprised the isolated cul-de-sac. "So why didn't they build any other houses here?" he asked. "Why do you think?" Luke spat. "Not too many people want to live next door to a murder-suicide house." "Yeah, but that was like years ago," Ian said. "You'd think they'd just bulldoze this heap and throw up some new digs all along here." "Yeah, you'd think," Ryan said. "But I talked with a contractor friend of my dad's. He said other developers did try to build up here after everything went down, but too much weird stuff kept happening that spooked everyone away." "Hold up," Luke said, shifting his focus from Evan to Ryan. "Weird stuff like what?" "I don't know," Ryan began. "Like tools and stuff going missing, excavators and bulldozers not working, weird sounds and things people saw. I don't know, just stuff." Ian crossed his arms, his eyes swelling ever so slightly. "What things did people see?" he asked. "Man, I don't know," said Ryan, his irritation beginning to bloom. "Just like shadows and stuff inside the house, the feeling of being watched or whatever. You know, all the typical BS people say whenever they're around a supposed haunted house." Everyone's eyes drifted to the shadowy structure. "My dad's friend said that part of the problem was that some people got freaked out and refused to work, but mostly it became too expensive to replace and repair everything to even start demoing the place, so developers moved on to less problematic sites." Ryan eyed the empty lots in the cul-de-sac. "I guess the years since haven't done anything to change their minds, and they just decided to stay away." Ryan put his arm around Evan. "And this is where you come in. You know about this place?" Evan swallowed. "I've heard things." "Yeah?" Ryan said. "What things have you heard?" Evan shifted uncomfortably. He stared at the house, almost as if he were recalling a memory. "I heard that a man murdered his wife, then killed himself." "Gold star for Evan," Ryan belted. "For real?" Ian said. "I thought that was just smoke. You know, urban legend stuff." "It's no legend," said Ryan. "You can look it up." Ryan nodded toward an upstairs window. "Apparently my man had a bad day and followed it with too much booze, then took it out on the missus. Beat her to death with a meat cleaver. When he finally returned to planet Earth and realized what he'd done, he couldn't take it. So he offed himself with a double barrel in the bedroom." He pointed at a window on the 2nd floor. "That bedroom right there." "Sick," Luke said through a perverse smile. "So your task, should you choose to accept it," Ryan began, "is simple. You go inside and bring us something from the bedroom. I don't care what it is. A doorknob, a broken piece of mirror, a hairbrush, whatever. You do that, and you're officially a Phi Psi." Evan studied the house. To the outside observer, he might appear emotionless, maybe even apathetic, but his expression belied the rampant feelings that stirred in his belly like a tempest and caused him to start to sweat. He in no way wanted to do what was being asked of him, but his therapist believed that, at his age, inclusion was an important part of his therapy, so Evan swallowed his reservations. He looked at Ryan. "That's all I have to do?" he said. "That's it," Ryan responded through a nod. "Easy, right? Other frats would have you drink until you puke or run naked through campus to join their brotherhoods, but not us. We ask for something more. Any fool can drink or look stupid. We want you to prove your worth through personal courage. The way we see it, if you can overcome your fears for yourself, then you're considered reliable to overcome them for others, namely us, your brothers." Evan nodded and took a deep breath. "Okay then," he said. "Guess I'll be back." He walked up the broken concrete path to the 3-step rise that led to the porch. He stood at the front door for nearly 20 seconds, just staring at it. This elicited scowls of confusion from the others as they exchanged glances. Ryan was just about to call out to Evan when, without so much as a backward glance, Evan opened the door and went inside. "Man, for a second there I thought he was going to cave," Luke said. He faced Ryan. "And so, Dylan?" Ryan chuckled. "Inside and waiting. He got here about 15 minutes before us. Saw his car parked a street over." "Wait, what's this?" Ian said, his eyes flitting between Ryan and Luke with complete incomprehension. Luke thumbed toward the house. "Dylan's inside waiting." Old Evan's about to get the surprise of his life. Guess we should have told him to bring an extra pair of underwear. Luke and Ryan laughed. Ian tried, but it died on his lips. How come you didn't say anything to me about Dylan? Ian asked. I don't know, Ryan said through dying laughter. Guess we figured it would be easier to keep this secret the fewer people that knew about it. Don't get your panties in a twist. It's not personal. I'm not getting my panties in a twist, Ian protested. It just seems like something we should have all... But Ian would never finish that sentence. Instead, he followed Ryan and Luke's stunned expressions to the porch stairs, where Evan currently descended. He walked straight up to Ryan and placed a moldering likeness of a horse in his hands. It was the kind of object one might discover attached to a mobile over a crib. Here, Evan said. Ryan's smile evaporated. He looked at the horse, then at Evan, then turned his attention, confused as it was, to the house. You, see anything inside? Ryan asked. Or anyone? Evan shook his head. No. You didn't see Dylan in there? Luke said. Now it was Evan's turn to frown. Dylan? No. Why would Dylan be in there? Ryan and Luke shot irritated glances at each other, then shook their heads. I knew he'd screw this up, Luke said. Ryan tossed the horse to Ian, then charged toward the front door. He called out, Way to jack up the plan, a-hole, then stormed inside the house. Evan looked at Ian and Luke. What's going on? Nothing, newbie, Luke snapped. Congrats on passing the test, I guess. Dylan was supposed to be hiding inside, ready to scare the crap out of you, Ian said. Luke shot him a death stare. Shut up, Ian. He faced the house. Yo, Ryan, let's bounce, he yelled, but no one responded. Ryan, Luke called out again. Dylan, let's roll. Still, no reply. Luke shifted uneasily. Man, what the hell's going on? Ian, he began. Go see what those fools are up to. Ian's face matched the protest in his words. What? Me? Man, you want to know what's going on? You go find out. Don't be a chicken, Luke spat. Just go. Screw you, Ian said firmly. You go. Yeah, Ian, Evan said, his injection into the conversation drawing raised eyebrows from both men. You go. Luke stared at Evan with equal parts surprise and simmering rage. Unless you're scared, Evan added. Luke floundered for a response as he quietly seethed. His bluff had been called, and by a pledge no less. Evan knew he would likely pay for this transgression once they all returned to campus, but he began to have growing doubts that they would all make it back to suffer any punishment. Fine, Luke said. He turned from shooting daggers at Evan to fix on Ian. He thrust a finger at his chest. But you're coming with me. Ian glanced at the house with creeping apprehension, but like Luke, his fortitude had been called into question. He knew he couldn't return to the frat house a coward, not when a pledge had already done what he was refusing to do. All right, Ian said, gulping visibly. Let's just get everyone so we can get out of here. Where the heck are they? No frickin' idea, Luke said. He whirled on Evan. You stay here. We'll be right back. Evan nodded and watched Luke and Ian turn toward the house. He could see the hesitation in their eyes before they ultimately started up the walk and climbed the steps to the door. Luke made Ian go inside first. He followed, then called out for Ryan. That was the last thing Evan heard. He didn't wait around to see if anyone exited the house. He knew no one would. Ryan's summary of the events that took place inside the home on this lonely cul-de-sac was chillingly accurate, but he either left out or unknowingly omitted a crucial detail. For had he revealed the full story, he would have mentioned the child who was left in his crib after the deaths occurred. This child who would grow up with a shadow over him and wouldn't learn of the tragedy that befell his parents until his teenage years. This same child, now a man, who would choose to face his demons and return to his place of birth, only to come face to face with the source of his unrelenting trauma via the whims of college pranksters. This same boy, who, as he walked away, would cast a final glance at the house that had once been his home and bid farewell to the mother he never knew, who, unbeknownst to him, would watch her little boy recede into the night from the upstairs bedroom window.